The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC Experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning, Jose. How you doing?
I almost look like Hose B. He's Jose and I'm Hose B. Look at
B.
that.
I've got to say, it looks good, Sifu.
Yes.
Would like it.
How you doing, Sifu? Can I say
I'm
it?
exceptional.
Exceptional.
Getting better every
Getting
day.
better every day. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Good to see you guys.
I love today's topic, proximity principles. What does that mean to you, gentlemen? One word is proximity. That means a lot. But then we have the principles part of it. So when we tie those together, it really has such a depth to it. Love to hear your idea and concept.
Well, for me, the proximity aspect of it, it means a lot to me because that's a part of my identity, understanding how powerful it is about who you surround yourself with. And I was taught that at a young age. My mother said to me, show me your 3 good friends and I'll show you your future. And she went as far as telling me who I could hang out with and who I couldn't. Now, she knew that she was going to tell me don't hang out with him and I was going to hang out with him anyway. But she knew enough to say, don't bring him to the house. Because if you bring him to the house, I'm going to embarrass you. He is not going in your same direction. And you might not understand this now, but you'll understand it later on and you'll thank me. So proximity has always meant something to me. And then the great Emilio Roman said proximity is power. And that is exactly right, because the people you surround yourself with, just by being in their presence, steps up your productivity 10%. Vice versa, you hang around negative proximity and it goes down 20%. So it goes down twice as much when you hang around people that are not doing the right thing. So that's interesting enough. Now, principles, I'm anxious, or not anxious, but I'm looking forward to hearing what Jose has to say about the principles, because I do have understanding of the proximity. So Jose, what's your thoughts on the principles of the proximity?
Well, first of all, I definitely want to expand on proximity. But before I go into that, I'm going to answer your question. Principles, for me, are fundamental to anything. So principles determine outputs and outcomes, right? We have to have standards and things that we stand on, and I think principles are important. So proximity and principles, there's a lot of principles around proximity, but I think principles are just fundamental to anything, really. If you attach the word proximity ahead of it, it's just that. But to more specifically around proximity is, for me, my mom and my dad, but they both said the same things, kind of what you just said, which I love because I resonate with it completely. And the whole idea that your future is determined by who you're around, right? Who you hang around, which is huge. It's rarely a matter of what we know, but who we are around. And we are the collective of the people, right? So and we've all heard this before, right? And I've said this countless times, especially in the space that I'm in with community. I've always said your network is your net worth, right? We've all heard that before. And I think another spin on it, and this came from the book over there, So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. If you don't know that book, I encourage you to get it. It's called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. And in that book, there's a quote that says, your proximity determines your possibilities. Right. So they say your network is your net worth, but taking that one step further, a deeper version of that is your proximity determines your possibilities. So, and of course, we're going to get into principles, but that's really the next phase of it is what are your principles around proximity, because that's going to determine how you engage with proximity.
Love that. And I got to say, my mom used to say, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. That was powerful. Because usually you'll see a bunch of kids running around and one does the wrong thing and the other one follows. So we have to be careful of who we surround ourselves with. And I call that the inner circle, right? The proximity. You can be in a room with 20, 30, 40, 50, even more people. But if somebody does the wrong thing, do you say, hey, we should all do that? Or you walk away from it? And I think that is the key of proximity. What do you, and when we think about the principles, I consider that values. What are the values behind your principles? What are your standards that you are willing to live by and accept? If I'm in a room with someone else and they're doing something right, I want to learn from them. Maybe I don't know how to do it. And so the proximity will let me be able to ask them, hey, how'd you do that? Or would you mind teaching me how to do that? Now, the same thing goes for if somebody's doing the wrong thing. Do I stay around? And maybe I say, it's not so bad. Maybe I can do the same. Instead of saying, if you have your principle behind you and you go, I'm going to just back up a little bit. I don't need to be in this space at this moment. So proximity is also what room you're in, right? Even where you decide to plant yourself for the day, for the week, for the month, for your future. So proximity does play a big part in our lives, in our futures. But our futures are based on what we do today. So when you're in a room with people who are doing the right thing, that's the right room. But if one person starts to negatively impact that room, you may have to consider if that's the right room.
Yeah, we don't accidentally become extraordinary, right? That's not a thing that you trip on and you're just like, oh, I just became extraordinary. No, you become extraordinary because you're in the right rooms, you're surrounded by the right people. You don't become extraordinary in ordinary thinking, right? So if you're in a room with ordinary thinkers, people that don't think out here, they don't have big vision, they're not mission and purpose driven. They just go day by day. They go where the wind blows. They wake up with no trajectory. They kind of just are up and down all the time, and they have a lack of discipline and no structure and lack of follow through and lack of consistency. And you're just hanging around this kind of like monotony of what is this word I'm looking for? Just casual passing through life, right? People just casually pass through life versus intentional and driven, and they have great ideas. So to become extraordinary in anything, to be phenomenal, you got to be around extraordinary thinkers. You got to be around people that stretch you, not ordinary thinking.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely. And the three of us are going to be in real close proximity to one another in like a week and a half or so. We're going to be in Virginia Beach, and you talked about Emilio Roman, and we're going to his event, him and his lovely wife, Daniela, and it's the Born to Risk, the mastermind in Virginia Beach. And when we think about the power of proximity, it's even the intention that we have when we get to the space, right? What are we going to do when we're there? Who we're going to associate with, and who do we want to actually bring into the fold, if you will, right? Because the three of us, we jive really well together, right? But then there's other people that we say, hey, you know what? Come be part of it. Come be part of this. And this is why we are doing the New York City Mastermind Experience in Atlanta, Georgia. And Coach Theo is going to be hosting it. And Lancelot, you talked about what a great weekend you had, but it was because of proximity. Could you tell us about that?
Well, I had the opportunity to spend, some quality time with Tio and Michael Stevenson. And you're absolutely right, because it's proximity is everything. And just being around and that energy and that incredible frequency is very uplifting. I got an opportunity to stay at Tio's home, meet his wife, meet all three of his children, and you get a chance through proximity to really value who this person truly is, because you really find out who they are by their children. So just spending that time, proximity to his home, proximity to his family, and then proximity to one another, it was an uplifting weekend. And it's funny because he was taking me to the airport, I think it was Sunday, and we got into standstill traffic. And the entire time, I never panicked because I was in the moment, and I was like, hey, if I don't make it, I don't make it. You know what I mean? But I'm enjoying the moment right here with the two of you gentlemen. And Tio kept saying, yo, well, come on, man. We're trying. We're going to. I said, yo, relax, man. It's all right. If I don't make it, it's just not going to happen. It's not in the cards, but I have no control over that. But what I do have control over is how I am in this space right here, right now, in the present. And I can tell you that it was an incredible weekend. And to be able to get a chance to have that proximity to his family really told and showed me a lot of who T.O. truly is as an individual. And what you see is definitely what you get.
With him, absolutely. Here's the other thing that I want to ask you. You were able to take a look at the venue that we're having our event in. And when you think about the atmosphere that also creates a space for proximity, tell us about the space, if you don't mind.
Well, the space is a winery, and it's this beautiful, intimate space that nurtures, to me, connection. You feel the entire space feels like it's for connection, and then it's in an area where everything proximity, all the different places that we're going to are all in. I think it's called Cherry. I forget the name of it. Berry something. It's right across from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's this incredible artistic area. And one of the places we're going to is the cigar bar. And who did we think about? We thought about Jose and the meeting after the meeting. So we saw a cigar bar. We're going to a winery. Then we're going to a Mexican restaurant. And they're all within walking distance of one another. But it's so that we can continue to have that proximity that we're talking about right now after the meeting, then the meeting after the meeting, because that's when you really connect with people. And I'm very excited. I came away looking forward to the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Big shout out to Emilio.
Yeah,
he's on.
It's actually Castleberry Hill. Castleberry Hill.
Yeah, Castleberry. Yes. Yes.
For those of you who are interested, across the screen and in the comments, we also put in the place that you can get your tickets, right? Right now, the tickets are like dirt cheap. It's $197 for general admission. That gives you 3 days. And VIP is $597. And that gives you not only the 3 days, give you preferred seating, gives you all these different things. It also gives you dinner Friday night, gives you dinner Saturday night, and Saturday you also get lunch with that. So think about $597 to get all that. I've spent way more than that on one day event. So
That's
think
right.
about being in a room, and we're limiting how many people we allow in the room, by the way. And we also have a roundtable event happening, and that's even a tighter knit of people. So the proximity is going to be really rich in that.
Yeah, we have a lot of amazing people coming to this thing already. So if you're watching this, I am telling you, as we continue to drop names and name drop of the people that are going to be in the room, it's very, very exciting. And again, it's the proximity piece, right? We're going to be around some phenomenal leaders and titans of industry, people that are doing things in business, right? There are people that are in business and people that are doing things in business. Okay, there's a gap there, just to be real, right? Good is good, great is great. And we have some people that are movers and shakers that are looking to meet other movers and shakers, because together, when movers and shakers come together, all of a sudden exponential growth happens, new opportunities arise, big things show up, new ideas emerge. I have seen enough collaborations. I have seen enough people become clients of others. I've seen enough referrals. I've seen enough things come from NYC Mastermind Experience events, right? Things happen in the rooms that we put together here, which is amazing. And that's why multiple people have come back multiple times to the NYC Mastermind events, and we're always moving them around, right? So now we have it in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, if you haven't been to Atlanta, this is your chance to not only go to a new place, but to
Yes.
experience it with some amazing leaders. And that's really what it's about. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait. The countdown is live. And yes, Emilio's Virginia Beach Mastermind is in a couple of weeks from now. Thank you for the shout out, of which I'm the lead sponsor for, which I'm honored to do that. But it's going to be an amazing event there too. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of things happening. But notice the theme here. It could be the beach mastermind. It could be the NYC Experience. It could be the Speaker Mastermind Live Forum doing in November with the Omni Bedford Springs. All of these opportunities equate to what? Proximity, and that's it. How to.
Yeah, somebody we met at the Born to Risk last year was Amelia Franklin, and I would love for Amelia to be with us and join us, and maybe even be a speaker. She's a phenomenal human being. So the consideration is, do you value your time when you're with other people, or do you just show up to see what you can get out of it? And so I think the proximity is not about, hey, let me sell you my stuff. It's more, it's how can we grow together? And that's the principles I live by. I don't think anybody has ever seen me say, hey, nice to meet you. Here's, buy my mug. I've never done that, right? And even when people say, hey, what do you do? I say, I help people. And then if they're interested, then they can get in, we can get into it. But for me, it's not about me, it's about us. So for me, proximity is, how can we help each other? Not how can you help me, but how can I help you? So Jose's a servant leader. Lancelot's a servant leader. Coach Tio is a servant leader. What I'd love to do is right now is show you guys a video of just the three of us. Take a look.
Jose Escobar here. We're at the NYC Mastermind Experience in Tampa, Florida. And we just had so many high-level serial entrepreneurs from all over the country in one room for 3 days, and so many phenomenal, top-notch, world-class speakers that I'm still trying to gather my notes from everything that was said.
And when you talk about notes, one of the things that everyone said to me is that they took things away that they can actually take action on, and that's what separates us from any other mastermind that you would ever go to.
And I think also the thing that separates us was each speaker spoke from the heart. And a lot of them pivoted, including myself, on what they were going to speak about that day and based it off of what was given. And I think that was one of the most special things about the New York City Mastermind, is the authenticity of all the speakers.
We want to see you guys. NYC Mastermind Experience, Atlanta.
See you there.
Peace.
The beauty about what we do is that every single event that we have is a little bit different. This one is ascending, right? The last one we did in Tampa was Ignite, right? So we're igniting, now we're ascending. Think about it, we lit the fuse and now we're taking off, right? So think about ascending. How is your business ascending? How is your relationship ascending? How are you personally, both financially, spiritually, relationship-wise, ascending in your life?
I'd love to chime in on that subject, ascending, because I think it's a really powerful subject matter in life and in business, right? Both life and business, because those are two separate things, even though they're interconnected, right? Because life affects business and business affects life on the personal side and the business side, but they're two separate kind of things that kind of happen at the same time as you navigate be in the world, right? So what I can say is that we have to continuously upgrade the circle, right? And when I say upgrade the circle, it's not in it from an arrogant perspective of like, you know, I'm better than you and I'm not going to talk to you anymore. It's the reality that in personal development, there is a theme there. It's called personal growth. It's called development. You have to be continually improving, right? And the reality is some of the people that were in my world 2 years ago are not necessarily in my world today on a proximity level, right? Are we still friends? Do we still say hello to each other? Sure, that's fine, right? It doesn't mean you have to like not talk to people. It just means that you're constantly evolving, right? That's the evolution of life and business. Person and professionals, we're constantly trying to improve. So what does that mean? That means you got to upgrade your circles every so often. You got to keep trimming the bonsai tree, like a Karate Kid, right? You got to keep trimming the bonsai tree, and you got to keep the, you know, what's fresh on the tree, and what has kind of not been what needs to be, you cut it off over time, right? That's growth. That is growth. And so the circle that I will have in 20 years from now is going to be different than what it is today. Now, the goal is that the people that you have been riding with for a while, the people that have been in your world, the goal is that they're equally growing too, that they're growing with you, they're developing and they're creating and they're going through their own evolution with you so that we can grow together. But sometimes you do this and the person that you were growing with did this, and notice how one was stunted and one keeps going, right? So, and that's the evolution of life, is the progression. So the goal is that we grow and we build together, but over time, sometimes, you know, you're just going to have to keep upgrading the circles. And that is just a reality of life, right? There, you know how many people in high school that I grew up with that I don't even talk to today, because I have moved on from certain things. Now, it doesn't mean that I think I'm better than somebody as a human, or that I'm cocky or arrogant. No, it just means that we are on a different path. We're in a different wavelength in terms of how we show up in the world, right? And I want to change the world. Like, that's how I think. I'm not thinking about changing my neighborhood or my street or a couple of people in my circle. I'm thinking I want to change the world.
Yes.
I want to create global impact.
Yes.
I travel all over the world and take people with me. And that kind of mindset can only be nurtured around extraordinary thinkers, people that are on the path, that are actually in the trenches with you. And if you're not in the trenches with me and you don't think that big, then that means that I will eventually have to upgrade the circle. You might look around and be like, "Oh, where's Jose?" And you know why.
Jose, I gotta
Mic drop.
I love that, but I also have to chime in, if you will, because what you talked about is relationship as well. Think about why some people get divorced, because one grew and the other one stayed stagnant. And so a great relationship is you both are growing, you're helping one another. And proximity can do that. But if you separate yourself because the other person is not growing, it's not their fault. Maybe that's where they need to be. but we need to continue to grow. And so one of the things is when you see that someone else is not growing, it's about, hey, I see you a little bit stuck there. Can I help? So that proximity, you may have people who may be doing things differently than you, but if they're willing to help, maybe it's time we listen, because growth comes from learning. Growth comes from listening. And the other thing that you talked about is expanding your circle. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want to hang out with you anymore because I don't love you. It means that my values and my principles have evolved. And when we evolve, we want to be in a space where other people are evolving as well. So the reason we're doing this mastermind, if you will, is because it's not just a regular event. We've all been to regular events where you get nothing out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, you may get some good notes out of it, but do you make business out of it? Do you make connections that last a lifetime? Many times the answer is no. But when we create the mastermind that we three decided to do, we're changing lives. People have reached out to me, and I know they've reached out to you, gentlemen, and they've told you what a difference this mastermind has made for me. I've heard it countless times. Every time when somebody says to me, I cannot believe the growth I've experienced after, not before, after attending your event. Thank you. Thank you. And it wasn't me alone. If they just came to see me, yeah, they may have some growth, but it was everybody in the room. It was that proximity to being able to meet new people, to have a conversation, or even meet the same people, but that person has grown and you may have grown in a different area, but now you come together and you can share your experiences. So it's that continuous growth with people. The proximity doesn't happen one time. Growth happens because we continue to get together, do things. And when Lancelot and I were talking, the first time when I explained what I was doing with this thing, we both agreed that our purpose for even doing this was to change the world. And Lancelot said, I'm in, because that's exactly what I want to do. And Jose, we remember how you were like, I'm not staying on the sidelines, guys. And you said, because I see what you guys are doing, I want to be part of it. And it was an easy ask, right? And we actually asked you to be part of it because you said, I love what you guys are doing. I said, well, don't wait over there with, because you're a person who doesn't stay stuck. You don't stay, well, you're constantly growing, but you don't stay at a level. You're continually looking for growth opportunities. And that is why the three of us are now growing together. And so proximity to each other, and every time we get together, we just expand on that. So don't allow yourself to think that you go to one event a year and you have proximity. You actually have to meet those people, maybe have a coffee chat with them, go see them in person, do what Lancelot did and Mike Stevenson, and they actually went to Atlanta to hang out with Coach Teo because he's our boots on the ground. And he picked out this venue that we're going to be at. So the proximity helps you grow.
I just think both of you just so eloquently define proximity, but I want to give and piggyback on that for those that might be listening and might be in a scenario where they don't know exactly what to do. I know I was in that scenario going on 2 years ago, hearing that inner voice inside of me saying there's more to you now. This was at a time when things were going very well for me as an actor. I was in a film, I got to lead another film, but yet I was not feeling fulfilled because I knew what my purpose is. My purpose is to be a beacon of positive light and energy to people around the world. Now I'm saying this for those that might be feeling stuck and not knowing what to do. I was feeling stuck. I knew there was something more for me, but I listened to the inner voice inside of me, which told me to just start meeting and connecting with people. I met Brandon Gondoris, which is how I met you guys. The point is that you have to take yourself out of your circumstance and your situation. That's the best thing to do, is create your own environment, because proximity is power. When you create your own environment, you then start to ascend, because you ascend with the rest of the environment. What happens is when you stay back with friends and family who might not or are not going in the direction that you want to go, because many people are satisfied, and comfortability is the killer when it comes to trying to drive to do something different and ascend. So you have to separate yourself, and it's not a mean thing, but you must separate yourself from people who are comfortable and get in that environment with people who are uncomfortable and who are trying to be the best that they could possibly be. And that is how you do it. You take yourself out of one environment and find yourself, find it, get on the internet, come to events like the New York City Mastermind Experience. And I promise you, you will elevate just based off of proximity, because proximity is power. And I speak not from a book standpoint, I speak from somebody who has gone through that and searched out my environment.
Take a look who's joining us. Coach Teo's in the house.
Hey!
Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
I was just talking about you, man. What's going on, sir?
I was just listening to the feed on Jose's
Welcome.
Facebook, man, and I heard Sifu say sideline, and I said, man, I can't sit on the sideline for. So I first and foremost thank you, Sifu, because I know it's at the middle of the hour, and I thank you for letting me in the gate, bro. Letting me in the room. I appreciate you for that. But I must say, man, proximity is really power, man. We all know it. Shout out to Emilio. Shout out to Daniela. Virginia Beach coming up, man. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be amazing. And shout out to Mike Stevenson, man. He's not feeling well. Talked to him yesterday, and I told him, hey, man, you're in our prayers, and we hope you get to feeling better. So if you're seeing this, brother, the weekend was electric, man, and I thank you. Good morning, Daniela. See you out there. But listen, man, I thank you, Sifu. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Lancelot. Because it's the truth, man. When you say a purpose, you gentlemen have given purpose to many of us out here. Because you three are you're the mainstay for New York City Mastermind Experience, and the individuals that's been in New York. So many to name. Dr. Brian Arnold, Martha Razzo, Paul McFadden down in Tampa, AJ. I saw AJ was just in like Switzerland with his children on some peak overlooking the Alps. I was like, wow, man, that's amazing. But what struck me was he was with his family. And my family right now, my son's asleep because they go to school next week. So they trying to get their last bit of summer. But my family is still raving about Lancelot and Mike Stevens. They're raving, man. And yes, to open up the home, and you don't let just anybody in your home, man. And Sifu, you already know, under construction was the theme down in Fort Lauderdale. My home has been under construction for a couple months now. I'm not afraid to say it. We had a little boo-boo. My son, the toilet got filled up, and next thing you know, my oldest son comes down to get on the school bus, and the whole kitchen is soaked. And he
Mm.
freaks out, comes and gets me. It leaked all the way to the basement, Joe. And so, we've been doing a lot of construction, and I felt in my heart, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't open up my home. With what's happening, we got floors torn out, we got half carpet cut. It's crazy. You gentlemen can imagine. But when those gentlemen told me they were coming and for the purpose of what we're doing, the Mastermind Experience in Atlanta, Georgia, I told my wife, I said, babe, these are my brothers. This house could be, overran with, whatever you want to call it, and they will still be here because we have a purpose. And is it okay if they come to the home? She said, yep, as long as you make the bed, as long as you da 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 for them. But all of the rambling set aside, man, we had an amazing time this weekend. I got to meet Mike Stevenson's wife, his children. I got to meet Lancelot's first cousin by blood, his first cousin. So, and just watching him watch Lancelot. And when we start talking about what the Mastermind Experience is, he was like, man, bro, I won't miss it for the world. So I'm excited to see him. And lastly, the best part of the weekend, you all, and for the individuals out there viewing today and listening, we have a actor on this screen with us. And my daughter's also an actor. She was in Creed 3. If you haven't seen the movie with Michael B. Jordan, my daughter's in it, man. Go check it out because she still gets the little checks that come every month for the more viewership. So she lives directly across the street from the venue. She's the one that told me about the venue. She said, Dad, you don't know it because I don't want to stroke your freaking ego, but I watch you guys. She said, when I'm at work, I watch you guys. And she said, and for what I see that you guys are doing, across the street will be a perfect place for you all. And the proximity of it, like Lancelot was saying, when I was looking at Jose's feed, man, it's true. Everything's within proximity. It's in alignment. And the best part of it, man, was taking those two brothers to my daughter's home. And we start talking about acting, obviously. And Lancelot started explaining about who's better, Michael Jackson or Prince. They all agreed that it was Michael Jackson. I agreed that it was Michael Jackson, but because I'm a host and the podcast and all of that, I spin the narrative and said it's Prince. They started pulling up the old Super Bowl, performances, and we're going at it. And man, Lancelot Theobald was like, I work security for a Michael Jackson concert. He said, man, and just the way he stood up and reenacted that moment of people passing out when Michael Jackson just came out and did the stance and didn't move for 10 minutes. That was the highlight of the weekend. We laughed, we cried, gentlemen. Mike Stevenson and I, we shared some tears just talking about life, family, being dads, working hard, leaving our families, the things I've heard all you gentlemen talk about. So it was special, and to me, that's the proximity that will be on display in Virginia Beach with all of us. It'll be on display come Atlanta, Georgia. So if you have not looked into it, man, New York City Mastermind Experience.com. Check it out. It's the best out there, man. I saw a post the other day. I won't say names, but when I saw the post and kind of the nature of that post, in terms of, there's people out there to be wilding out, man. And the first thing in my heart, I said, well, that particular individual that made that post knows that he's got Marines on standby. Marines on standby. And all he has to do is push the button, and Marines from all angles are going to start coming with proximity mines. And what do proximity mines do? Hey, they wipe out a whole lot. So we're here. Thank you, Sifu. I love you, brother Lance. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Well, we do
you're after Sifu. Go ahead.
Well, let me share the video and then you'll come on, Jose.
We are here in Tampa, Florida for the NYC Mastermind Experience. It was an absolutely epic weekend.
This was our 5th one, the 6th one.
Coming up in Hot Atlanta, that's right, Atlanta, Georgia, and our host, the great T.O. Clay.
Hey, you don't want to miss it. Come September, the new Hollywood of the South, ATL, baby. Make sure from NY to Tampa to Atlanta, Georgia. Can't wait to see you there. Peace.
Light up the city, every rise tonight. Every speaker bringing down in that fire, that light. No funny, no fear, just truth on the mic. It's the NYC life, we unite, light up.
Yeah. Think about it. So, Jose, you're up. It takes him a second before he can come on. You're muted also. Still muted. I know. We have to wait because after we play a video, it dies on him. So it's kind of weird. But,
There we go.
You're back.
It usually takes about 10 to 15 seconds. Weird, very weird. But anyway, I literally did this in real time. Just a couple of quick names as I was thinking of, we're chatting here. Great points. And yes, T.O., I'm of similar thought process where I see someone in my world that's going through anything and I'm very quick and ready to be on standby for whatever is needed. But at the end of the day, life is simple, and I like to keep things very simple, right? There is no gray area in life. It's black or white. It's just pretty straightforward. So in terms of a thought that hit me, because we were talking earlier and I said, you know what? I said, well, upgrading your circle is important at all times. You have to always be mindful of who's in your circle, right? Are there people that are dragging you down? Are there people that are bringing negative energy? Are there people that are just, always looking for drama? Like what is around you, like at all times? So you got to evaluate your circle consistently, because we should all be growing together. We should all be growing together. And if we're not growing together, by default, you're going to look up one day and say, oh, I'm not in that circle anymore. I wonder what happened. And it's just, you were outgrown. You were just outgrown, and that can happen. It's not personal. It's just a reality, right? I am thinking through the lens of, I want to change the world, right? And I want to do big things with global impact. And that's going to require me to be around people who think and actually show up in that way. Right? Thinking in that way is one thing. The next step of that is behaving and acting in that way. Right? So I'm just going to name drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names in the last couple of weeks. Literally in the last couple of weeks, the first names that came to my mind. And then one of them, I had to look at a document to see what exactly it was that he's doing, because I forgot. But I got to say, 8 names literally in the last couple of weeks that are in my circle, proximity, that is literally what I'm talking about. For example, Gene King, this guy, 8-figure earner, was rated the #1 business man in the entire state of South Carolina multiple times. Gene King is somebody that I'm rubbing shoulders with, connecting with, adding value to him while he's adding value to me. Jim Britt is the original coach of Tony Robbins, who put Tony Robbins on the map. He is in my proximity now, and we're building a relationship. Nigel Henry, Human Greatness Activation. This guy has been with some of the biggest names. He's worked for Fortune 50 companies. He has built and done some amazing things, and he has this whole philosophy of changing the software of people's minds. He was a big IT guy, and he would clear bugs in the IT space at the highest levels for some of the biggest companies in the world in the IT space. Now he said, you know what? I had a calling, and my calling is to now debug humans' software, which is their mindset of how they think, to help them go to the next level. Amazing guy, Roy Smooth, right? This guy is brilliant from the UK, doing big things and musically gifted, and has done tremendous things in the business world. Murray Lee, I met thanks to Sifu Rafael. I mean, this guy, when I spoke to him originally, he said, I'm an author. That's how he opened it up. I'm an author. And that's awesome. That's fantastic. But he just said, I'm an author. And I was like, well, what else do you do? As I got to dive deeper, guess what I understood? Well, he's an author. He's a speaker. He's a mentor. He also just happens to own some hotels and happens to own some restaurants and happens to own a movie theater and happens to own all these other things that he didn't even talk about until I started diving deeper, right? And it just, and the hotels that he runs, the hotels that he owns, get this, are boutique hotels, right? Beautiful, gorgeous, high-end boutique hotels with an S, plural, around the country. And my wife and I, you know what we've been talking about? One of the next visionary things that we have is, she said, Jose, I want to have some boutique hotels one day. And that's something that I can get into, where we have a boutique hotel. And guess who's in my proximity now? Somebody who's doing the thing that I was already thinking about. And that's the power of proximity, right? And Dr. Daniel, this guy retired at 52, multimillionaire from the dentistry industry out of Canada. And he now is a Bitcoin guru and doing a bunch of things, and it's just money's not a thing to him, right? And then Manoj, I met through Sifu and through Roy, and this guy has 4 patents in AI, doing global things, super well connected in the marketplace all over the world. And you know what's crazy? All these names I'm dropping are in the CLA, and that is the power of proximity. That is the power of being around people and elevating your circle at all times. And that's what I do. Right? That's what I do, and that's what I love, and that's what keeps me having a big vision, keeps me passionate, wakes me up in the morning knowing, man, I'm getting around the right people. That's really what it comes down to. And if somebody at some point hits an expiration date in your world for the reasons that they pretty much put themselves in, that's up to them, right? I love on people, and I want people in my world, and I want us all to go together. But it's an inside job. I can't want something more for somebody than they want it for themselves.
I love the fact that you talk about people not as people, but as bigger than they even see themselves. Because even what Murray said to you, I'm just an author, you're like, wait a minute, you're doing more, right? And when you start diving into people, it's who they've become. And each one of them has become exceptional because of their actions that they've taken. Even the people that they have had proximity with. So we all have growth. Every one of us has had growth because of the people who've been in our lives. So when I said you talk about people bigger than they think they are, is because sometimes we forget who, me, I never forget, right? And some people, now I'm not saying you guys forget either. I'm saying some people forget who helped them climb the ladder. Who said, grab onto the next rung, it's going to get you higher. And so sometimes some people climb the ladder and they don't look back down and say, let me help you up as well, because they've surpassed them. So think about the people in your life that you've surpassed. Have you gone back and said, hey, you know what? Maybe I've surpassed you, but is there a way I can help you get up here with me? Right? Because whoever wants to be living in a penthouse all by themselves without any friends or family or anything of that nature. And there's a lot of people in the world who are living that way. They're alone. So proximity is not about being alone. Proximity is about being with like-minded people who continue to bring you up as they rise, and you bring others up as you rise. And those are the principles of proximity. Don't keep it to yourself. Share your wealth. And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about your wealth in knowledge, your wealth in building, your wealth in the actions that you take. Coach Tio and I are doing a show together, and it's called Unified Leadership. And that particular show has evolved from the minute he and I decided to do that show. Jose was our first guest. Lancelot was on just the other day because he was at Coach Tio's house, right? But think about what that show has become. It's become something bigger than we even fully acknowledged the possibility of it. But because we are in each other's world, when the proximity has grown, that we're now doing a summit August 21st, that's in a couple of weeks. But because of that, we also have started a school community, and the school community is based on knowledge. So we're creating a 3-year educational program for leaders. The only way that was possible is because we brought 2 incredible human beings with us. We brought Bethany Stone, who was phenomenal, and we brought Renee Jackson Smith, who's another powerhouse. So the 4 of us have created a school community. And if you ever want to know what that's like, just look up Unified Leadership Academy on school. And what we're building, it's next level, people. But we couldn't do that without knowing who the other people are, without uplifting each other. So we go on, we have a document that we're constantly working on. And in that document, we're able to put notes and say, I like this, don't like this, do that, do that. We're lifting each other up constantly. There's that thing. There's no friction going on. It's a lift. I love what you're doing. Can you change it to this? Can you do that? So the lift that we need to do with one another is very imperative to the growth, not only for ourselves, but to those that we're leading. So leadership, people, lead yourself so that you can help lead others.
Amen. Hey, Cutnose and Angeline, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Man, I must say, gentlemen, I was on the call yesterday with Jim Britt for 2 hours, right?
Wow, I'm meeting him today at 12.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, bro. I promise you. Shout out to Amy, because Amy's proximity, she gave us the lob. You know, she threw the alley-oop. So Jim Rohn is my favorite. And before you get on with anybody, you go and what we say in the Marine Corps, you sniff their butt like dogs sniffing each other's butt. So I'm sniffing his butt. I'm looking and I'm like, wow, this gentleman he's very distinguished, you know. So as soon as we got on, and I won't go through the whole thing, obviously, sake of time and all of that either way, but I told him, I said, Jim Rohn is my favorite. I said, I ride up and down the road and sit around and sometimes just zone out to Jim Rohn. And he gave me the whole layout of how they met. Proximity, bro. The way he explained that to me and how that proximity started the dang on spread like wildfire. And he also talked about what Jose just said, the bonsai tree. He's like, I had to do a lot of chopping along the way, Tio. And it was just an amazing conversation. And to speak to someone like that is done, he's already walked it. He's been through that gauntlet. No different than a young man coming to me saying, I want to be a Marine. I've experienced it. I really can help. Same thing with Mr. Jim. Shout out to Jim Britt, because he told me, he said, I sniffed your butt too, basically. And I see some of the things you're doing. I know some of the people that you know, and you're moving in the right direction. He said, I could promise you that. Just from looking around and seeing a little here and there, T.O., you're doing the right thing. So that confirmation meant a lot, because it was almost as if the spirit of Jim Rohn was on that call as well. And lastly, I have to say this, gentlemen. I watched a reel yesterday, and it got me emotional, bro. Like, as men, sometimes, man, we play the tough guy role all the time, and
Shit, I be getting
we
emotional.
gotta, yeah. And that particular reel was you, brother. It was you, Lancelot. It was you and your buddy that you've known a long time. And
Oh,
and I
I
saw
know.
us, yeah, I saw your raw emotion,
Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
but it was what he said as well. When he came back to pour those, nutrients back into you, bro. And he said, I've known you a long time, Lancelot. And he said, man, and I'm proud of you, obviously. He said, but man, you've always been a true brother. And then he got emotional, man. And that touched me, Jim. I just want it to be heard. I was touched. So, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's a lot. You're almost on your 100th episode. You know, I know Jose is a part of that, and that proximity. That's huge, bro. I showed Lancelot in my house where I watch his podcast, my little hiding spot where I watch him, and for him to be there. And, Tio, you really watch me, man? I said, of course I watch you, bro. And I learned and I developed and I cut my own bonsai tree. So, man, love you fellas, man. I'm excited to see you all in Virginia Beach, man. It's gonna be dope.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
So if you guys do, go ahead, Lancelot.
I just got to say, proximity is power, but it's the individuals. I always walk out of here learning, but I'll always walk out feeling better about myself and having a big smile on my face as I interact with you three gentlemen. And I think that's very hard to find. You know, when you can come out of a situation, and I've been around, obviously, lots of different people from lots of different arenas, and you know, from acting to doctors. But when you're able to walk away, each time you have an experience with you gentlemen, feeling lighter, feeling like you learned something, feeling like there's a true love and passion and specialness about the interaction. There's nothing like that. You can't pay for that. That is just priceless. And I promise you, we saw it in Tampa. And the other thing I wanted to say, and then I didn't get a chance to say, is each time that we've had a mastermind, each time it's ascended to another level. Every time we've had it, from the first time we had a learning curve. That second time we ascended, third time we ascended, and then once we got to Tampa, we really took off. So I'm expecting that Atlanta is going to be an experience that everyone will never forget, because we understand what the mission is. The mission is to uplift every single body that comes into that room. For those of you that might be in there for the first time and you don't know how to communicate, have no fear. Because I promise you, if one of us sees you at the wall sitting down or sitting at the chair, we will pull you in and we will start to communicate with you. And we will give you everything you need in order to ascend, because that's what this is all about. And I think that's what makes us special. And I'm so excited. And as I look at you gentlemen, I feel good. And it fills me up. And again, I learn every time I come off of this call, but I'll also come off feeling better. Knowing that we are, and Jose said it earlier, we're looking to change the world. We're looking to change the world. You know how many people, that's only 1% of the world that even thinks like that. Everybody else is comfortable. But that's what I want. I want to be a beacon of positive light and energy to people around the world. And Jose said, I'm looking to change the world. T.O. is trying to change the world. Sifu, you are trying to change the world. And we all came together. I think that's universal energy, baby. God, whoever you believe in, brought us together as the Avengers to change the world.
You got excited. I see that. I see you got excited.
We got all hyped up.
Yeah, it's powerful, bro.
I'm going to share another video with you on what proximity has done for both Coach Theo and myself. Just take a quick look.
The next level is waiting. Will you climb? We climb. Together.
We grow.
Together.
We lead.
Together. Yeah, this is unified leadership. Purpose, character, conviction, wisdom, connection, impact. Together we become more. Bring your vision. Bring your fire. One community. One heartbeat. One mission. Keep climbing.
Keep growing.
Unified Leadership Academy.
Unified Leadership Academy.
Unified Leadership Academy. Stronger together.
One community. One future.
Join us.
On school soul.
Where leaders connect, where true leaders grow, where leadership never stands still.
Keep climbing. Climb higher.
I know that this is New York City Experience Live, but the reason I played that is because we're talking today about proximity. And had Jose not introduced me to Coach Theo, and that right there speaks what proximity truly is. Because when he introduced us, he kind of said, okay, guys, and he walked away, right? Because he basically said, you guys need to meet each other. And Jose, you were so dead on, so straight with the introduction. And then you didn't say, let me tell you guys how you have to be with each other. No, he's like, you guys handle it. And a lot of times when somebody introduces you, that should be it. Jose did it beautifully. Jose is a great connector. This is why we're all part of the Connected Leaders Academy. Think about that. Proximity is critical to your growth. And if you think you could do it alone, nobody has ever done it alone. No actor, no entertainer, no musician, nobody, no professional athlete has ever done it alone. And guess what? Steve Jobs never did it alone. He had the right people. He associated himself with the right people to be able to create something that we all put in our pockets. Whether you have a Samsung or any other type of phone, we still have to think of him because he created something that expanded and continues. Just yesterday, I had my laptop in my hand and I was feeling the screen and it's like, holy cow. This thing is so thin. My laptop, the screen, and it's beautiful. It's the latest laptop that you can possibly get from a Mac, right? Because I love technology. And when I was feeling, it's like literally no thicker than this, right? And I'm looking at, and I was just working and I tapped and I was like, oh my God, the brilliance.
Yeah.
And he was only able to create this because of the people he surrounded himself with. So who are you surrounding yourself with? That's my last 2 cents before we log off.
Yeah, we over, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Looking forward to seeing all the new people coming out to the New York City Mastermind in Atlanta. I guarantee you it's going to be fire. Going to be fire. Angeline, we love you, girl. Let's change. That's right. Let's change the world. And thank you for introducing me to Darryl Stearns, excuse me, Angeline. All right, guys.
God bless everybody.
All right. Peace.
You guys.
Everyone who's in the room is all about giving. Everyone who show up here and who are in the room are just givers, and they just want everyone to become better and better entrepreneurs, better founders, better coaches, better givers. You are going to meet the best of the best in this room, and it's an intimate experience, right? Sometimes you go to events where there are hundreds or thousands of people, and here in the New York City Mastermind, it's an intimate experience, so you really get to know them. You get to know them as people and not as just a number that's out there. So I highly recommend New York City Mastermind to anyone.